From a tsunami in Greece that flooded a coastal apartment complex and a warehouse in Thailand that was no match for a tropical storm, to a sheep farm in northern China that had its roof peeled clean off, and a wild tornado in Andover, Kansas that leveled this elementary school. Here, on October 30th of 2020, a 7.0 magnitude earthquake rocked the Aegean Sea. It struck about 8.7 miles off the coast of Samos, Greece, a small island closer to Turkey than the Greek mainland. It's home to about 32,000 people who were in for a rude awakening in late October. The earthquake triggered a series of tsunami waves that battered the Greek island and western Turkey. Security cameras outside an apartment complex showed how quickly the ocean can wash everything away. A woman casually walks away from the complex, perhaps to run a few errands. Little did she know, the water was beginning to rise behind her. Looking closely, you can see the tsunami quickly approaching their seaside porch. 3 minutes after she leaves, the water smashes into the apartment complex. It takes out the ice machine and breaks down a door like a violent home invader. It recedes as quickly as it came, taking someone's red bag along with it. The woman returns about 40 minutes later and can't believe what happened. The tsunami caused major flood damage along the northern coast of Samos. The surge broke through windows and doors, as seen in this clip. It quickly flooded everything on ground level. Many people lost their boats and cars as they were carried out to sea. Bamayao is an autonomous county in Guangxi Province, China. Fun fact, Bamayao is known for having some of the oldest people on Earth. We're talking like 110 years old. They've even been the focus of several worldwide studies on geriatrics. On June 10th of 2022, a massive landslide nearly wiped part of Bamayao off the map. Seeing how landslides are pretty frequent in China, these centenarians have probably seen a handful in the past 100 years. But we imagine none of them have been this bad. Unfortunately, there's little information available about how much damage the landslide caused. All we know is that a period of heavy rain weakened the soil, which triggered the event. From the looks of it, several cars were totaled and a few businesses were nearly destroyed. Drone footage really puts the whole event in perspective. Look at how much dirt and debris fell from the mountain and covered the road. They'll probably need a few more dump trucks to haul everything out of there. Tongliao, China is a prefecture-level city in eastern Inner Mongolia. Between June and August, the area is prone to crazy rainstorms and hurricane-force winds. While it's mostly dry and sunny in the summer, one of those freak weather events can strike at any time. On July 7th of 2023, a sudden windstorm ripped across a sheep farm in Tongliao. Since they had no prior warning, the shepherds could only watch and hope their sheep were okay. From another angle, cameras show the roof coming off in slow motion. It nearly does a perfect backflip before getting blown to who knows where. The shepherds said their farm houses over 400 sheep worth about 500,000 yuan. From what we can tell, none of the animals got hurt during the storm. Ankang, China is a prefecture-level city in Shanxi Province. The original settlement allegedly dates back to the Stone Age, while its recorded history is over 3,000 years old. It is located between two mountain ranges, the Daba and the Qinling. That means heavy rain and landslides are all all too common. In early September of 2021, several days of heavy rain triggered a catastrophic landslide over a mountain tunnel. Thankfully, nobody was driving through when the mountain came down. Watch as the trees slowly creep over the top of the tunnel. It looks more like a giant mountain monster waking up from a 1,000-year nap. The outer wall gives way, and the impact causes our CCTV camera to shake. In seconds, the entire tunnel gets swallowed by rocks, dirt, and trees. Aftermath still shows some progress being made on clearing the debris. We're not sure if the interior collapsed or just the entrance. According to reports, the tunnel was blocked before the landslide occurred. Some local geologists probably saved a lot of lives that day. Rockledge, Florida is a coastal city about 50 miles southeast of Orlando. When it comes to natural disasters, the locals are more worried about hurricanes than anything else. But on August 16th of 2017, a new storm rolled into town. According to the National Weather Service, an EF0 tornado tore across Brevard County. A homeowner in Rockledge had their patio security cameras rolling as they watched the storm approach. While EF0 constitutes a weak tornado, the Rockledge storm still packed a punch. We're not sure what the person at the start of this video is doing. Maybe they're exercising, or maybe that's some sort of ancient anti-tornado dance? If it is, it didn't work. You can see the wind picking up as the dog moseys through the backyard. Two more people step onto the back porch moments before the tornado arrives. They probably heard a warning on the news and had to see for themselves. It seems like the dog is the only one who knows something bad is about to happen. The wind starts blowing their patio furniture around. The homeowners retreat inside seconds before the backyard gets deleted. The tornado blows the cover off their hot tub and knocks their grill into the pool. One powerful gust rips open the patio roof like a tin can. Then, a water spout forms in their pool for a few harrowing seconds. According to the homeowner, the storm caused about $15,000 worth of damage. But thankfully, everyone was okay. Lopburi is a historical province in central Thailand. It's home to about 750,000 people and some of the oldest artifacts and prehistoric settlements ever discovered. Even though they're a landlocked province, they're still vulnerable to tropical storms coming through the Gulf of Thailand. One of those storms struck on April 20th of 2021. Standing in its path was a warehouse with 2 workers inside. They didn't have time to escape before the wind ripped the whole building down. Our cameras begin inside. All seems calm on the factory floor. Then you can see the loose film flutter on the pallets in the background. Then all hell breaks loose. The far wall and roof explode as the storm rips through. Our camera goes flying, but keeps recording among the debris. You can see wind and water flying overhead as the storm destroys everything. Thankfully, both workers on the inside were okay. One said he could feel the building shaking and hear the wind howling. He heard his buddy call out to jump inside a car. They hopped in moments before the building was blown to bits. The storm caused severe damage across the region. Just look at what it did to these trees and this poor woman's shop.
ทับ 1 หมู่ 5 ตำบลเกษอำเภอสำโรงเนาะครับที่ชาวบ้านแล้วตามมีร้อยนะครับรอบบ้านเนาะเดี๋ยวก็จุ้ยเลยแล้วนี่สภาพนี่ก็ปลูกนี่สภาพหลังบ้านแล้วในครัวนะครับก็ปลูกก็เสียหายนะครับเสียหายหลังบ้านนะ
Local officials said damage to the warehouse and surrounding area would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to repair. Unfortunately, this was only the beginning of the tropical monsoon season. On April 29th of 2022, a powerful EF3 tornado tore through Andover, Kansas, a small suburb east of Wichita. Dozens of structures across the city were leveled to the ground. More than 950 buildings stood in its path of destruction, according to the fire chief. One of those buildings was Prairie Creek Elementary School in Andover. While all the children took shelter at home or in bunkers, CCTV cameras captured the twister as it tore the area to pieces. We begin outside the school as the tornado approaches from the left side of your screen. You can see the trees bending toward it as debris rolls across the parking lot. Keep your eye on the single parked car. It rolls away like a toy as the storm gets closer. The tornado finally emerges. Giant splinters fly in every direction. We believe that's the school in the background, and the twister is heading right for it. Another camera shows us the car getting sucked away. Garbage flies out of the cans, and trees are uprooted with ease. We're thinking damage to the camera caused it to turn pink like that. Hats off to that playground equipment. It put up a solid fight during the storm. We can't say the same for the cafeteria. The tornado blew out the glass window and wreaked havoc on the inside. The whole building shakes violently. It feels like the roof was on the verge of caving in. The storm passes as quickly as it came. All we're left with are aftermath shots of the destruction in and outside the school. Junagadh is an old city in the western Indian state of Gujarat. Home to about 319,000 people, it's the 7th largest city in the state and boasts some of the best tourist destinations. Of course, that largely depends on where you go. You won't see many vacationers flocking to this old water tower. But that's because it's gone. On July 30th of 2021, a 40-year-old water tower randomly collapsed. Security cameras aimed at the tower and inside the surrounding building captured the entire thing. Judging by the disrepair and flies on the camera, we imagine this isn't the prettiest part of Junagadh. Without warning, the door bursts from its hinges and the whole tower comes crashing down. Water floods the area and rushes into the nearby building, where 2 men are working. We think that building is the white structure you see in the video. Thankfully, nobody got hurt when the tower collapsed or when the building flooded. We assume old age and poor maintenance had something to do with this. The city of Dagupan is a large community in the northern Philippines. It's home to about 174,000 people and a gym that knows how to bring the house down, literally. Ape Athletics Gym is among the top places to exercise in Dagupan City. They're right on the coast of the Lingayen Gulf, meaning they were pretty vulnerable when Super Typhoon Doksuri or Typhoon Egay in the Philippines came to town. CCTV cameras from inside the gym were rolling when the storm passed through. Basketball practice was in full swing. Just as one player goes for a layup, a giant chunk of the roof caves in and nearly takes him out. Players scramble for safety as more debris falls in. One guy even hurdles a sliding beam. From another angle, we see a bench full of players escape as the roof caves in. One woman ducks for cover while a father-son duo hightails it out of there. The final angle shows one guy grabbing his girlfriend and literally carrying her to safety. A spokesperson for Ape Athletics said the roof from the university next door came off and flew into their building. Nobody got hurt, and the gym reopened 2 weeks later after repairs. Rize, Turkey is a city full of ancient history. Today, Rize is a wealthy coastal city built on a narrow strip of land between the water and the mountains. Wealth gaps separate those who live in the city from those in the mountains. In mid-July of 2021, heavy rain triggered several landslides in the mountain regions, laying waste to the vulnerable villages below. CCTV footage captured the terrifying moment when one family barely escaped with their lives. The video starts with a woman casually walking out from one side of the home to meet up with people on the other. Clearly, she had no idea what was coming. We assumed there'd be a little more pep in her step if she did. While the video has no audio, these people must have heard the incoming landslide. Imagine not seeing it coming, only to watch it destroy the house you occupied seconds before. Sadly, the landslides claimed 6 lives throughout Rize province, and 2 more people went missing. The Turkish president pledged 5 million liras, or about $500,000 to fund the relief effort. But the Turkish people would need much more. Heavy rains never let up and continued through the end of July, causing more floods in northeastern Turkey. Things didn't get any better in August, as rising water in the Black Sea sparked the worst floods in Turkish history. Angtong is a small province in central Thailand. It sits about 76 miles north of Bangkok and is home to about 280,000 people. Sadly, the area was among the hardest hit when Typhoon Noru struck in late September of 2022. During the stormy season, typhoons like Noru can cause the rivers to quickly overflow. This triggers devastating flash floods long after the main storm passes. On October 18th of 2022, two families learned how quickly the flooding can go from bad to worse. Our next family watched water creep in from the corner and quickly flood their outdoor patio. The time-lapse really puts things into perspective. Watch how quickly it goes from a puddle to waist-deep water. They seem to have enough time to grab their ultra-important belongings and get them out of the danger zone. Water eventually rises above the raised entrance and floods one of the houses. Then, a guy shows up with his boat to haul more items to safety. It doesn't look like the current is willing to cooperate with him. One of the homeowners said they were shocked by how quickly the water rose. 2022 was an unusually bad rainy season. Floods like this were pretty common. You can tell by how calm everybody is. Taipei, the capital city of Taiwan, is situated in a region with rather high seismic activity. Back in September of last year, the city was hit by a strong magnitude 6.9 earthquake, which was the largest among dozens that shook the southeastern coast of the island. Despite being accustomed to tremors, the quake caused significant damage. Security camera footage at a school captured some of that damage firsthand, and it's pretty surreal to say the least. The video starts out showing some students playing in the gymnasium when the quake first hits. They all go running for cover and escape with only moments to spare. Seconds later, the roof tiles all come crashing down, leaving a pile of debris scattered across the floor. Miraculously, though, nobody was injured. The school had just finished renovations when the quake struck. Should the contractors be to blame for the collapse? Many buildings were damaged after the quake, and even an entire bridge section collapsed. Surprisingly, though, from what we can tell, estimates for the total cost is under $5 million. Seems a bit hopeful, if you ask me. 2021 was a wild year for extreme weather. Perhaps most memorable was Hurricane Ida. Being a Category 4 storm, it brought with it powerful wind and rain, leading to over $65 billion in damages, making it the sixth costliest tropical cyclone on record. After forming over the ocean in Central America, the hurricane began tracking northwest into the Gulf of Mexico before finally making landfall in Louisiana. As I'm sure you're aware, Louisiana is not a state that handles hurricanes well. Cities such as New Orleans are actually below sea level and are prone to flooding. Close to New Orleans lies the small fishing community of Delacroix. When Hurricane Ida hit, they were one of the first communities to be affected. Security cameras on a local fire station captured each moment as it unfolded. In a matter of just 1 hour, the entire landscape was underwater. These before and after comparisons show how dramatically and quickly Ida changed the landscape. These cameras captured what happened in just the span of 60 minutes, and in only one area. Hurricane Ida would go on to travel further inland, flooding more communities and cities before finally dissipating. But the fun wasn't over yet. Remnants of the storm lingered and caused extreme flooding and tornadic activity as far north as Massachusetts. The flooding was so bad that most of the New York City transportation system had to be completely shut down. Ida was the second most destructive and intense hurricane to ever make landfall in Louisiana. The only storm worse was Hurricane Katrina 16 years prior. Wind speeds of 150 miles per hour were recorded. Oddly enough, Ida hit Louisiana the same day Katrina did, August 29. Xining, China is the capital of Qinghai Province and the largest city on the Tibetan Plateau. For over 2,000 years, the city was an essential commercial hub along the Northern Silk Road. It's still full of tiny shops today. But on August 29th of 2022, a few of those shops vanished in the wake of a massive landslide. Thankfully, everybody was evacuated before the mountain buried part of the town. All seems calm on the quiet streets of Xining. Then, two people start running for their lives. They signal for a passing scooter to stop, but it's hard to tell what's happening. Then, the landslide tears through like a massive tsunami. It obliterates the shops and nearly buries a van. Several people run toward the disaster to make sure nobody is hurt. Once the dust clears, we see how destructive the landslide truly was. That used to be a string of thriving shops. Now, it's a wasteland. Hopefully, the owners were able to make a quick recovery. On February 25th of 2022, a 6.2 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of West Sumatra, Indonesia. Patrons at a convenience store in the Pasaman Regency were going about their business when the ground began shaking. CCTV footage from inside the store captured 4 terrifying shots as people fled for cover. All seems normal as our cashier watches 2 children leave the store. Then, the earthquake strikes without warning, causing everyone to flee. The cashier grabs her child and runs for cover, but decides to hunker down between the shelves instead. We see the same scene from another angle as items fly off the shelves, and the earthquake causes the image quality to drop. The third image shows how violent a 6.2 magnitude quake is as the camera shakes out of control. The fourth camera, stationed outside the store, films 2 men fleeing into the street, the safest place they could be. Finally, a compilation shot shows everyone shifting from normal to panic simultaneously. Residents in Pasaman refused to walk away from their damaged homes, fearing the government wouldn't count them for reimbursement. If you enjoyed this video and want to see another just like it, then be sure to click the link on screen now. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.